Hey everyone, and you're very welcome to this Business English Hour with me, James O'Reilly. I'm very glad to be with you today, and I'd just like to say a very big welcome and hello to the new connections that I've made today. And what we're hoping to do here, what I'm hoping to do with Elika Formación as well, is we're hoping to help you improve on your English, completely free, of course, just helping you. And today we've got a very interesting lineup. I'm going to try and get everything done in half an hour. So it's like the business English half hour in an hour in half an hour. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we have lined up. Let's not waste any of your time. I know it's valuable. So I'm going to jump over and I'm going to show you what I have ready for you guys today. So what I have ready, if I just make sure I'm on the right page, yes, we're going to look at the headlines, and then after the headlines, we're going to look at some business phrasal verbs for you guys. Then I'm going to go across and look at a specific interview question, which will be a time when you had a difficult situation at work and how you managed to solve the situation, what you did. This is a very typical situation in an interview. So we're going to look at that question briefly. Of course, it depends on your job. Then we're going to look at the tech wreck, all of this situation that's happening right now at the moment. It's not a great time, but it is also a time of opportunity. We're going to look at a couple of people who were working at Google, and we're going to do a listening. We're going to listen to them. And then we're going to look at some business lunch etiquette. This is quite relaxed. It's basically in the UK, if you're having lunch, how you should behave at the table, if you're a little bit worried, if it's different to your country or not. And then finally, we'll do some formal goodbyes. Okay, so that's going to be all in this packed half an hour. We're first going to look at some vocabulary from the headlines today. I'm going to jump across to that actually and have a look at that. So the first thing we have is a terrorist attack in Spain. That happened while we were sleeping. What happened here? Let's have a look. We're going to look at this very briefly. This was a situation that happened in the south of Spain on the Costa del Sol in Algeciras, if I got that pronounced correctly. But in English, of course, we'll say Algeciras or something. A man injured 4 people in a church, including a priest, and he was of Moroccan descent or Moroccan origin, dressed in a djellaba. He was then arrested. So people are saying that this is normally a quite here on the Costa del Sol. It's a bit strange for this to happen. And of course, in the picture, you could see the national police. Then in Nigeria, 27 dead in an attack. This is awful. This is a real tragedy. These people were herders. Herders are people who are like take care of goats and sheep. And this happened in this area of Nigeria that I got ready earlier on. So obviously when these things happen in Europe or in white countries, we hear so much about it. But when it happens in Africa, it's kind of like, well, you know, Africa. But this is really, really a tragedy. It happened in this area of Nigeria. And hopefully, apparently, this type of attack is quite common. But, you know, these people, honest people, trying to make a living as herders, these people are harmless to everybody. And apparently the Nigerian army was involved with an airstrike. So that's very, very unfortunate. And then the center of Odessa in Ukraine listed as a World Heritage Site. So UNESCO has decided to speed up its examination of the area and turn it into a World Heritage Site. I really don't understand this UNESCO deciding for the world what's going to be a heritage site or not. Something I really don't understand, how some company has just decided what's going to be important. And I think we're all kind of brainwashed into believing what they say, or they're working on behalf of the world. If I believe someplace is important to me, it's important to me. So I'm giving you my subjective opinion, of course. And I don't think any city should be bombed. But of course, I don't think Russia will care or not whether it's a UNESCO heritage site or not. If they're going to bomb it, they're going to bomb it. So that's my opinion, but that's the situation. A lot of people think UNESCO is, of course, a great thing. I think it's good. Any place should be protected. But it's getting into the ridiculousness now, for example, where you have situations like here in Spain, where a very common thing is for people to sit outside in the evening, outside their front door, put out a seat and talk to their neighbours. And now making an application for this to be protected by UNESCO. Well, if people don't want to sit outside their front door and talk, they're not going to do it. So it's a bit weird. Okay, definitely giving you my opinions today. I'm going to move on to the next topic. That was the headlines. I just make sure I'm got to make sure I am on the right page here. Yes, we're going to look at our business phrasal verbs. Let's jump down to those business phrasal verbs. Okay, so what do I have for you today? I've got 5 of them for you. The first one for a phrasal verb is to close a deal. So this is to finalize an agreement or a transaction. So how can we use this in an example? If you're in the working world and you're in sales, or you're just generally in business, you want to close a deal. When you're in negotiations, you want to get a contract. If the contract is signed, you close the deal. So hopefully we're going to close the deal at some point this week. Next is to streamline operations. It's to make a process or a system more efficient and effective. You want to streamline operations. You want to get them working together so that you can, of course, make things more efficient, make it work better, streamline. It's something very common that we hear. After that is to increase revenue, to bring in more money for the business. This is essentially what every business wants. You want to increase revenue. You want to increase your turnover. Your turnover is also a synonym for your revenue. And that is the aim of the game, really, to increase your revenue as a business, of course. On to number 4, to expand market share. If you want to increase your slice of the market, if you want to increase your slice of the market that we looked at in the last one, which was the pie chart, like a slice, you want to expand market share. You want to gain a larger portion of the market. Generally, again, in capitalist, the capitalist economy, in a free economy, this is what most businesses want to do. Apple wants to increase its market share. Samsung wants to increase its market share. It's what people want to do. And then finally, we have at number 5, to leverage technology. This is to use technology to improve business operations and gain a competitive advantage. So, for example, if you're solely working through websites, or that's where you're only available, you want to perhaps then create an app. You want to leverage technology, get people and have your technology or your business available on an app, on a telephone, or on a cell phone. You want to leverage it, use technology better is what leverage technology is. Great stuff. Okay, on to our next one today. I hope these are of use to you. If this is turning out that it's going to be useful for you, please, 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 just tell a friend. That's all I'm asking. Tell a friend, let them know that this is good and it can help you or them with their English. Okay, thanks. I'm going to look at the next one now. Now, this is quite a lengthy one, but it is a typical interview question. This is useful for human resources. Can you tell us about a time when you had a difficult situation at work? Very common question when you're dealing in an interview situation. But of course, you can break this answer down to this example and tailor it, which means to bring it around to the job that you're applying for. So I have it written here. One example that comes to mind was when I was managing a project and one of my team members was consistently not meeting their deadlines. I scheduled a meeting with them to discuss the issue, to find out what were the obstacles they were facing, so we could help the situation. Through the conversation, we discovered that they were having personal problems that were affecting their work. I was able to work with HR, human resources, to provide resources and support for the team member, and we were able to develop a plan for them to catch up with their work. To catch up means to kind of get up to date with their work. This situation was difficult, but I was able to handle it effectively by staying calm, actively listening, and working collaboratively to find a solution. So it's the typical situation where someone is not working well in the team. You sit down, you chat with them. What is the situation? How can we solve this? Oh no, you have family issues. Okay, let's organize a program so that you can catch up with your work and help the team. And that way you are also developing and showing how your communication skills are coming into play here, actively listening, working collaboratively, working together, and you end up finding a solution. So again, you are going to have to use a real work example for yourself, but this is what you're going to do. Is essentially finding out what the situation was, listening to someone, showing good communication, and then coming up with a solution together in the face of something difficult. That was the question. Can you tell us about a time when you had to handle a difficult situation in work? Of course, if you're preparing for an interview now, this is likely a question that you will prepare for. Now, tech wreck, what's going on? Wreck is like where something is ruined. And at the moment in the world, a lot of tech companies are laying off people. Laying off people. And this is where they tell them you are no longer working for the company. There is an example here that we're going to listen to of a couple of young ladies who have been working at Google in particular, and they were kind of following, showing their lives on TikTok. And we're going to look at the article here as well as the ads, of course. TikTok lays bare the devastation of the tech wreck. Normally we say a train wreck, but this is the tech wreck. Google staff who earned viral fame by showing off their lavish offices online post clips of themselves sobbing. Sobbing is like crying after being suddenly fired as company layoffs. As company lays off 12,000 people. So these people were posting videos, which we're going to look at, of their lives on TikTok. And we're going to have a look at one of the videos to see if you can, how your listening is doing, okay? So this is the young lady in question, and she used to upload and post videos online of her life in Google. And we're going to have a look at one of those videos right now. So let's jump over and have
they're
a look.
A really good photo op, or you can sit in there and get some work done. I'm gonna head to the coffee shop to grab some coffee and a fruit cup since I missed breakfast, and then I'm heading over to this butterfly themed room to take my first meeting. Then I'm gonna head over to the confetti room to take my next meeting. It's so sparkly and beautiful in here. I love that a lot of our rooms are themed. Then I'm gonna grab my two favorite drinks, which is this green tea and coconut water. Next, I'm gonna go upstairs and grab some lunch. They always have pizza and a variety of different vegetables and meat. The food is always really good. And of course, everything you see in the office is free. On my way out of the cafe, I ran into a doogler, which is a dog googler, and ran into some ghosts. When they were renovating the office, there were a lot of spooky stories from the crew. So there's a whole area in the office where you can listen to them. Then I got more work done and headed over to the massage chairs to wrap up my day. Let me know what you want to see next.
Okay, so that's one of the ladies that was working at Google. She has since been laid off. She was uploading videos showing her day in the life and so on. A couple of things I noticed there was vocabulary for you guys is to grab. And that is when we get something quickly. I'm going to grab some lunch. I'm going to grab a coffee. Let me grab my coat. before we go out. This is to grab, like this. We grab somebody, but it's a phrase we use very often. Then the dog was a Google Doogler, little Dougal, little dog. So it's one of the staff's employees' dog that you can obviously have in the building. And she's showing off her office, how fantastic it is. And basically, it's very, you could be envious, you could be jealous of that working environment. It looks fantastic. And then she said, to wrap up my day. And that is a great expression when you want to start finishing a meeting or your day. You're going to, okay, guys, let's wrap it up, or we'll start wrapping it up now. Like a present, you just finish it. Okay, to wrap up. So then she went on, and she's, after being laid off here, we see her sobbing, we see her crying. And this should be the video, if I'm right, where it shows her
into my email or even check my calendar. I called my boss back and we just sobbed over the phone because she was also finding out about my layoff for the first time today too. I started getting calls from a bunch of my coworkers and started finding out who else was let go on my team and some neighboring teams as well. But I think the worst part is that it seems like no one was consulted on this decision and everyone was just finding out about the layoffs at the same time. It just felt like a really bad game of Russian roulette, and there was no consistency around who was let go. It was also not performance-based, so it just felt really random. I opened up LinkedIn, which honestly was not great for my mental health. There were so many people who were in the same boat that were both equally as shocked and blindsided, but it did help me feel a little less alone. Honestly, I spent so much of the day crying that I just felt so tired from being sad and wanted to do something that would just make me feel better. Luckily, I have an annual pass, so I headed over to Disneyland because I wanted to go eat my feelings. So I started off with a cinnamon galaxy churro and then went to the teriyaki turkey leg. This is a special limited edition item for the Lunar New Year celebration at Disney California Adventure. I had some Rice Krispie, a corn dog, did some drawing, and even had another churro. I don't really know what's next for me, but I'll be vlogging my journey and posting more content about it, so feel free to follow along.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. So obviously, if you haven't grasped, her accent is from the States. This is a very typical style I hear on YouTube and TikTok, of this style of talking on these platforms. It's very interesting. It must be very confusing for some people how you can live your life and your emotions on the phone. Find it fascinating. But we need to embrace this because so many people are doing this now, as we see her crying as she's looking at the phone. Very interesting. So she was laid off, which means to be let go, to be fired in a sense. No job anymore. She was locked out of her account. To be locked out. If you're locked out of your house, you don't have your keys. She's locked out of her mail and so on. Nobody was told. She said it wasn't performance-based. And so she went and what we call comfort eating. Obviously, she had a yearly pass to Disneyland. Amazing. And she was comfort eating. I don't blame her, to be honest. Probably it's a good thing to do. And then you can follow this. Let's give her a plug here. We call this a plug. It's Nicole. What's her name? I'll find out now in a second. Nicole. If I can just find it up here, because I don't want to click on it again. What's her name? Anyway, I'll find it in a moment. And then finally, we have another lady who was in the same situation. Let's have a look. We're going to go over to a different page to look at this.
What do you mean, breathe? Don't tell me to...
No, this is what happened to me the last time. It's the same woman, but it's a different TikTok video. So I need to go down here.
I'm leaving my scarf on until I got to the office. Are you from New York even? Got to the office and I was so proud of myself for getting there before breakfast ended. Like, that is so rare for me. I had French toast and a creme fraiche egg scramble, which was super good for a little bit on some independent projects that I have going.
So this is her life in Google before she was fired in Google in New York.
But I felt like absolute shit, so I went to the doctor. My COVID test has been negative, but I was feeling so terrible, and it turns out that I have strep throat, so I went home. Before I went home, there was human defecation in the subway. I get so tired in New York sometimes. Stopped by Walgreens to pick up my meds, and then got a donut at Donut Plant, and went home. I'm just gonna lay on the couch until I feel better. The end.
Okay, so this is a video of her in Google, and one thing that I find pretty interesting and quite shocking perhaps for you guys is what people are eating. Lots of processed food, lots of comfort food, especially for you guys here in France or Spain. Yes, lots of food that's going to make you put on weight, basically. So there she is at her computer, and then of course she is talking about here.
So here we go. My entire team got laid off from Google. The writings have been on the wall for a really long time. For example,
So she used a good expression here. The writing has been on the wall. When the writing is on the wall, that means there's a warning. You can see it. It's obvious. The writing's on the wall. We use this expression.
Team got reorged twice in the past year. Throughout this entire process, I have not once expressed anger or even being upset, primarily because I have the privilege of knowing that I am perfectly fine.
Okay, so this lady, she said the writing was on the wall because her team had been reorganized twice in the last couple of months. So she's absolutely fine. She is, from the rest of the video that I watched, she's moving into different areas of content creating and entertainment and so on. And also letting people know, get in contact with her as well. So that is at Sidonie Francis. And let's see the other one. At Sidonie Francis. No, it's her again. Oh, and at Nicole's Daily Vlog. Okay, so yeah, if you want to get quick videos of people in your area, or, you know, really great for vocabulary, really great to see how these people are talking. These two ladies are using American style. And right, I'm going to go back over. That's the tech wreck. A lot of people are being laid off from different tech companies. It's unfortunate. Hopefully they'll find jobs. I believe there are still lots of jobs going on. So this is business lunch etiquette. I wanted to talk to you about this just in case you happen to go on a business trip to an English-speaking country. It's fairly straightforward. Straightforward means not complicated. But there is maybe perhaps a slight difference in cultures. Okay, so I live here in Spain, and one of the things I heard, you can correct me if you like, is that, for example, when you're sitting down at the table, what to do with your hands, right? So in an English, I'm going to be mainly UK, probably the same in the United States, but your, fork and the knife, I don't need to explain that. But with the hands, we don't put our elbows on the table. People don't place their elbows in the table. So we're going to be talking, let's say, about a business lunch. Okay, so if you want to be careful, okay, no elbows on the table. And this comes from in the medieval times when the tables were unstable, and if too many people put their elbows on, the table would fall over. So that's apparently where it comes from. But so anyway, no elbows on the table. You can put your hands on the table, or you can place them on your lap. Now, I heard that, for example, here in Spain, you should always have your hands visible. Whereas in the UK, you do not need to have your hands visible. You can place them on your lap. Your lap is your legs, the top of your legs, where if you were holding your child and they were sitting on your lap, L-A-P, lap. So you can put them on your lap. No elbows. Okay. Sitting. Just sit straight, sit up straight. No slouching. Okay. This is slouching where I'm kind of leaning back and I'm slouching. It's comfortable, but it's your business lunch is now I am slouching. your business lunch is not the place to be slouching. Then if you want to use the back of the chair, you just slide back and then you can be more comfortable with generally like sitting up. Okay, so this one is keep your air to a minimum. What does this mean? Keep your air to a minimum. That means basically gas from your mouth or gas from other areas. So burping, where you have gas here and you want to keep that as subtle as you can. If you have gas from other areas, you want to go to the bathroom or wherever you need to get rid of that. And also shouting, you want to keep your voice down. In some countries, it's probably more acceptable to be loud. And in other countries, it's just always safe to keep your voice lower. For example, it depends on the country. It's not so bad in the UK, to be honest, I don't think. But perhaps in Spain, people talk a bit louder. When I went to Istanbul, people talk actually very low there. They're very low. And going across into Portugal, I've noticed in Portugal, people speak lower than in Spain. In Ireland, people speak louder than in the UK. In the UK, it's kind of in the middle. So you just kind of want to speak lower. Keep your voice low. It's always safe. Follow your host. And then your napkin. So your napkin, if you've been invited to the home of somebody, follow your host. When your host takes the napkin, whatever they do, you do. Okay? But if you're in a restaurant setting with your napkin, you want to just slide it onto your lap with the closed part facing you. You kind of know what to do. I'm not going to treat you like a child, but just bring it over onto your lap. And then when you're wiping your mouth, you're just dabbing. Okay, we're not wiping, we're dabbing. Okay, dabbing is the corners, dabbing the corners like this. And then when you need to excuse yourself because you need to go to the bathroom, you can leave your napkin on your chair or just to the side of it should be the left side of your plate. You can just leave it there or on your chair. And then a nice way to excuse yourself is, excuse me, I just need to use the bathroom. Excuse me, I just need to use the restroom. A common way to say it, that's more American, and I think that's safe for the UK because everybody understands. But if you remember this, you can say, excuse me, I just need to use the loo. Okay? The loo is a common way to say the toilet. Okay, but a politer way, it's a nicer way. But I think the American way is just the safest. Just, excuse me, I just need to use the restroom. Okay, the restroom or the bathroom. Restroom is better. Okay, for this type of situation. In another situation, you can do what you want. You know how to behave. But this is just a business. If it's you feel, you want to give a good impression, you're in the UK, what do they do? It's very important where I live. I think people are quite relaxed in the UK, to be honest. They're not going to really be looking at you, but that's what you can do anyway. So that's business etiquette for lunch. And then finally, I want to look... Oh, where am I gone? Okay, formal goodbyes. What can we say here for formal goodbyes? Let me read them. So if you're at the business lunch and you're saying goodbye, you can also say, it was a pleasure meeting you. Okay. Thanks very much, Dave. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking time out of your day. Now, this can be also used in emails. A pleasure meeting you is going to be in person, and in an email, you could say thank you for your time, or you can say thank you for your time in person. I look forward to our next opportunity to meet. In an email, you could say, I appreciate your attention on this matter. Please let me know if there's anything else I can assist you with. Email. Thank you for your business. Email. I'll be in touch soon. This can be email or in person. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Dave. It was a pleasure meeting you. I'll be in touch soon. Take care. I hope you have a good day. And goodbye. It was nice meeting you. So these are all very useful expressions in a formal way. Some of them are more emaily, and some of them can be more in person. Goodbye. It was nice meeting you. And to reply to this, it's always quite nice to say, you too. It was a pleasure. It was nice to meet you. And then if they say it first, it was a pleasure to meeting you. Goodbye. It was nice meeting you. To those two, you can just say you too. Thank you. Or you can just repeat what they said. Oh yeah, it was nice meeting you too. Okay, so those are formal goodbyes. You can stop this and have a look at the list on the page. That's all I'm going to do with you guys today. I hope it was useful for you again. And I shall be in contact with you, and I hope to see you again next week at some point, okay? More than likely on the early part of the week. Look out, it should appear on your screen. Very nice to getting connection with you guys today, the new guys, and let a friend know if this has been useful for you, and I'll see you very soon. Okay, have a great day.